Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Tony Finn and Rob Vino of WagerTalk.com. We're talking Iowa and Maryland. Friday night lights here, Tony. Starting off the weekend, We're seeing minus 3.5 point favorites, talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes on the road in College Park. 48 being the total. Are you liking anything here in this Big Ten Friday night lights action?
I would have probably. I've made some cash, made a little bit of pocket change on playing Iowa under almost all year, and I would probably been there again this week. But I think the bookmakers made a pretty good. They finally have, I think, in my opinion, made some proper adjustments, and this number is a tad bit low because I believe Maryland's. If there's a team, listen, this is one of those games where Iowa's more experienced. I think they're deeper. I think they're more talented in key positions that Big Ten football is played, and I could rant and rave about Big Ten football being 80s style football, and I still think they're a couple years behind as far as technology and scheme, et cetera, right? Let's note this game is going to be played on Friday evening. As far as Friday games go, this one is maybe one of the better Friday night games. I've always ignored it's almost like watching a Thursday night NFL. They typically are bad, and the Big Ten. I don't think they just don't give us those matchups on Friday night, and for good reason. They won them on Saturday, right? Both these teams unbeaten through 4 weeks. That's enough of a surprise alone, right? Now, who have they beaten? 2 weeks. Kent State, Colorado State. Iowa won both those games. This team's offensively challenged. I think we've seen that in the box score. If you do any box score handicapping at all, you'll see that the final scores in most of the Iowa games are a bit deceiving as far as if you glance at them and you don't look at the box score, you may say, well, maybe a situation might be what happened in the Notre Dame game this weekend. 41 points for Notre Dame was fairly deceptive. It was misleading. Fact is that they scored 31 fourth quarter points. So that matters. In this game, the Terps are dangerous. Iowa, which has been essentially flirting with, can I say, is it something I can say on radio? Ineptitude? Is that a nasty word? They're offensively inept. And if there's a team, guys, that Iowa can show me that they're capable of being offensive, or the coordinators and the coaching staff is capable of being creative, this is the defense you do it against. I stayed away from this game, but I'm telling you right now, if there's a trap game and if there's a team that's able to overcome, maybe throw some trickery up there and deceive some of this really a good, technically sound Iowa defense, it would be to his brother and this Maryland coaching staff. I like Maryland and the points in this game at home.
Yeah, the home dog is barking. I like the Terps too here. Robbie, both teams 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread. They've been money makers here. You agree with Tony and I, maybe looking towards the Terps, short week at home.
Well, power ratings tell me that there's value in Iowa. I made Iowa 7.5. They're only 4. So I think there's a love affair. And if you check the lines and the line movement in all Maryland games to date, it's all been toward Maryland or the over in their contests so far. So there's a lot of people out there that really like Maryland. I don't know that they've been as impressive as those who love them overall think. I'll say this: you've got a common opponent in this game, right? They both played Kent State. Kent State, we know, is a extreme tempo, all offense, no defense type team. Last week, when Maryland, I have two questions here, Drew, about Maryland. Tell you the truth, one is their defense. Not so sure they're any good, and the other would be their quarterback, Tua's little brother, Tailoa, however they say it. I don't know that he is much more than not a pure passer. Let's put it that way. But let me throw some numbers at you real quick here. Where Kent is concerned, in that game last week against Maryland, Kent had 13 possessions in that game. 11 times they took the ball and put it right into Maryland territory. 11 out of 13 they got across the 50 and into Maryland territory. I know Kent's a good offense, but you shouldn't get there 11 times out of 13 if Maryland's defense was any good. They settled for field goals 3 times inside the red zone. Could have scored touchdowns, only got field goals. They fumbled at the Maryland 20. The first half ended with Kent at the Maryland 22. All those possessions are all in the first half. In the second half, they got into Maryland territory 4 more times, all turnovers on downs. They scored 1 touchdown in the second half. That's 9 trips in with only 9 points. I don't know. Iowa's not a good offense, but if they get in there, they won't get in there 11 times because the game won't be played at that type of pace. But if they get in there enough, they'll score a couple touchdowns. Just to contrast that with what Kent did against Iowa. Kent had 11 drives total against Iowa. They only got to Iowa territory inside the red zone twice. In that game, Kent gets defeated pretty easily, and Iowa handles an extreme tempo, skill-type finesse offense. That's what Maryland's bringing at you, right? Maryland's going to throw a lot of quick hitters. They're not really going to push downfield. They rely on athleticism and speed. And if you look at their schedule so far to date, guys, they've played teams that you can get away with that against. Illinois, the 123rd ranked pass defense in the nation. West Virginia, 63rd. That's the best that they've played. Kent State, 103rd. All lousy pass defenses. Maryland has thrown for over 300 in every single game. The 4th game was against Howard. But I think you can make a reason for that. They've been superior athletically against all these teams, and especially offense versus defense. My idea would be that Phil Parker, the defensive coordinator, who has, confounded a lot of quarterbacks in his time, probably puts something together that confuses Tagovailoa, that confuses the Maryland offense. If I'm going to have a head coaching matchup between Mike Locksley and Kirk Ferentz, I'm not going Mike Locksley's way. If I'm recruiting, I am, but if I'm in a game situation, I'm not. I think Iowa's probably the right way. I can just see a couple of possessions here where they pick off a pass and bring it back like they've done all season long, right? They've capitalized on everything they do defensively. We're going to find out real quick if they can match up with Maryland's speed. But again, if I use the Kent comparison, and I know Kent is not on Maryland's level athletically, but I think that the type of offense is very, very similar. So Iowa's already seen it once. If you're going to play this little against the spread note I have here, if you want to just lay off the full game and wait, how about Iowa's adjustments for the second half, guys? Iowa is right now 4-0 against the spread in the second half, and they're 4-0 under the total in the second half. So they cover and they keep it under. They've only allowed 10 points in the second half all season long. So once they see you for a half, they adjust and shut you down. The last 2 games they've played, they haven't allowed a single point in the second half. So for me, I think there's enough wiggle room here value-wise to play Iowa. I just think Maryland meets their match here defensively. They haven't seen anything like this yet, so I'd probably try Iowa -4.
All right, fair enough from Robbie Vino looking the Hawkeyes. Tony and myself looking towards the Terps. We'll see what happens Friday night lights. Check out Robbie Vino, Tony Finn, and myself at WagerTalk.com. And guys, also remember, each and every Tuesday at WagerTalk, it's $2 Tuesday. Top handicappers, top play, discounted to just $2. Check it out, WagerTalk.com.